Hello, my name is Jennifer and I just finished half a trimester at Ravenswood Atelier for classical painting and drawing, and so I'm going to give an update on what I've learned and how the program's going. I absolutely love this program so far. I don't think I have a negative thing to say about it. It's definitely met and exceeded my expectations for what I thought an art school could be. And I feel really blessed that Matt and Magna Almi are the instructors there. They have a really generous way of teaching and their work is really great. So I'm going to post a link to their website, so if you're interested you can check it out. I'm going to take you through a typical day of the atelier. The day is broken into two parts, and the first part of the day is figure drawing. The model holds a pose for 5 weeks, so then all the students are set up around the model, drawing or painting, dependent on where they are in the program. And I think it's a really brilliant idea how this is set up, because for me, that is new to this program, it lets me see all the phases of the program. So since I'm new, I'm drawing from the model in just charcoal. Then another student that's working from the model is painting grisaille, which means painting with black and white. And then another more advanced student is painting in limited palette, and then again a more advanced student is painting in a full palette. And so it's really nice that I can see all the phases of how the program works and to see where I'm going. Our instructor Matt was also painting from the model, but he had added in a costume for the model, and it was more set up in a narrative scene. It's so brilliant because I get to see all the phases of academic drawing and academic painting, all the way then to real life fine art, which is really encouraging and also intimidating. And so during those 3 hours, Matt or Magna will come by and give you an individual critique on your drawing or painting, which I think is really great because you get a really personalized lesson for you on how to improve your drawing or painting. And the majority of my critiques were to improve on the gesture and also work on proportions. And to do that, I learned to squint down, because then when you squint down, it really simplifies the figure and you're only seeing the important necessary parts. So you're not getting caught up on detail that's not going to describe the gesture. And I also learned to try to describe the figure in as least lines as possible to really get the movement of what the figure is doing. And once you have the core gesture down in the most simplified way that you can, then you can start breaking the figure down. You have to break it down all around the figure and not just focus in one area. Because if you focus in one area, that might be correct, but then when you relate it to the entire figure, it might look completely wrong then. So, for example, if I'm fixing an angle that's on the shoulder, I have to look down and see how that relates to an angle that's on his foot. And so that way you're working the figure all together to create a unity and wholeness of it. And here's a photograph of my finished drawing.
This model's name is Jason, and like I said, he held this pose for 5 weeks. The paper I'm using is Roma, and other people use the Carta Firenze, and both are really nice because they're really toothy, so it can hold a lot of charcoal, and it's really durable, so it can hold up to being drawn on for 5 weeks. And the charcoal that we use is nitrum.
And then the second part of the day is individual project, which is from 1 to 4 p.m. My individual projects have been copying Bargue Drawings. Charles Bargue was a 19th century French artist. As a teaching method, he made about 200 lithographs of casts for students to copy, and this really helps to train your eye to be as accurate as possible.
This is the first Bargue copy that I did, a cast of a foot. This one doesn't have many tonal value, it's just a light shape and a shadow shape. And so it really helped me to look for the light and shadow shapes in my figure drawing.
And on my first Bargue drawing, I used Canson paper, which is a little more toothy, and then I experimented on my second one and I used Stonehenge with this really nice and smooth paper. And for Bargue drawings, we use graphite pencils.
This is my second Bargue copy, a cast of a man's arm and hand. This one has more tonal value, so I got to practice on how to best apply tone.
I feel what I learned most with completing these 2 Bargues is to not exaggerate angles, and I also learned to use straight lines over curved lines when making a drawing, because the most important part is to really capture the structure of your subject. And in nature, usually when you think you see a curved line, it can almost always be broken up into smaller straight lines, and using straight lines, it just makes things look more structured and accurate. And if you're using curved lines for everything, it's just easier for things to get kind of mushy looking and not as solid. And in a nutshell, that's what I've learned at Ravenswood Atelier thus far. And if anyone would like more information on the school, I'll put the school's website in the bottom of the link and also my other social media sites. And I'll see you guys in 5 weeks.